Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God Chapter 435, I almost said 3 for whatever reason, 435 for Season 3, Episode 19. I swear it just gets harder and harder to keep up with these numbers at the beginning of every video. But either way, I really enjoyed this one. I actually liked this one a lot, and there's a lot to talk about. Even going back through to read it some more and take notes on it, I thought was really fun. I just had fun with it. So yeah, let's start talking about this one from the beginning. So just to start off, I think that Kel Hellam, because we have his scene at the beginning, is awesome. I really like how unique and different he feels, and he actually comes across, whether it's the echoey dialogue bubbles, or whether it's his design, or the way he fits into the story, he actually feels like a big deal. He actually feels important and weighty. So I really, really like the character. So yeah, that's maybe even the best thing in the entire chapter is just Kel Hellam and Evan Kell stuff at the beginning that we didn't get to see more of. I thought it was great. He mentions FUG being the darkness. They gotta reject the light. No clue what that really means, because it would seem like they should think that they're the good guys at least, but I guess he has his own things going on. So I'm interested in what his vision for FUG is and what it is that he's doing. I just want to see more of him and just more of the FUG characters in general. I'm a big FUG fan and have been for a good long while. So from there, though, we spend most of the chapter, I'd say, with the Deung Deung stuff. And I feel like this is like the 20th time we've seen this exact same Deung Deung scene to transition us back into what's going on. Deung Deung, though, kept the collar on for a reason. That was actually super smart. Like, it actually was something that came in, it made sense. I was like, that's actually a smart plan. And another thing that was kind of good with it is it was a smart plan, but then Michael's instantly like, no, I thought that was weird, so I add apple jam it, your plan's not going to work. And it's just instantly shut down. So it was a good plan. We got to see Deung Deung was thinking for himself and making his own moves, but at the same time, we didn't waste a lot of time with Gato trying to talk him down and just things that would have been made pointless if he didn't actually use the bomb. We didn't waste time with it. We just had him come out with a good plan, instantly shut down the good plan, which kind of builds up Michael and Apple as being smart enough to notice, oh yeah, that's sketchy. So yeah, all of that I thought was good, actually. And this kind of contradicts something that Gato said before. He's like, you never had a real heart. And now he's like, nah, your real heart's actually in Louis. But Gato's totally on his Xehanort gimmick. He's pulling hearts out of people, and they're not like actual physical hearts. They're like spirity hearts. Like I said, he's on his Xehanort gimmick. So why does Gato have the power to take hearts in and out of people? No clue. Why are we getting into some spiritual heart type things? No clue. If I were to have one complaint about this, it really doesn't fit in the lore that we've learned so far. Kind of like transformations, we haven't really had a good explanation of how that fits into Tower of God's lore. So the scene itself I thought was good, but then when you think about it from a logical perspective from the lore we know of Tower of God so far, it's like, wait a second, that doesn't really fit in. Can we have some sort of explanation? Like, we've seen the soul-stirring ladle can remove souls or whatever, but Gato just straight up moves people's hearts around, apparently. So, yeah, no clue how any of that fits or how it's accomplished, but hopefully we get an explanation at some point, I guess. Back to Jordan and Tall, and Jordan kind of carries this arc for me. He's one of the few characters that, I think I said last week, I can't even say few characters anymore, because there are a good decent amount that I do like. But Jordan is one of the best from this arc for me. He goes level 3 fighting against Tall, whose design I also like. I like Grande, Venti, and Tall, all three of them. He goes level 3. His ability is that he's guaranteed to hit whatever he aims at, knocks the arm off of Tall. All of it was cool and all. I think his previous transformations looked a little bit less goofy. This one was pretty goofy, but to be honest, it is what it is. I don't really that's not going to make me dislike the character more at this point. It's not that out of the ordinary. And then Bomb and Karaka just wake up Yama, and that's it. We just see them hitting him and waking him up, which is funny because I did see some comments saying that it really feels like we haven't we've been seeing this bomb and Karaka waking up Yama stuff for chapters now, but we've seen such a small amount each time that it really doesn't feel, I don't know, impactful's maybe not the word, but it doesn't feel like it's moving along entirely at a good pace. I don't know, I get what they're saying. It does seem quite weird how we only get a few panels of it pretty much every time, so it's like not much actual progress is made on that part of the story each time, and yet it is. It's kind of a weird thing going on right now, the Bomb and Karaka stuff, because it does feel like, oh yeah, just basically one little phrase can describe what happened with that storyline each chapter. And yeah, confirmation here, Kun's basically got revive powers now. A lot of people complaining, of course, that it doesn't make much, or it's not that it doesn't make much sense, but more that it's not really cool given that Enakor is something he had to train for, the ice powers are something he had to train for, so it just doesn't feel right throwing characters power-ups like this, and I totally get that and totally agree with it. I've kind of already said my part on Kun's powers. I do think it's a cool power-up. I I just think it would have been better if maybe it was given to develop somebody else. And the fact that it was just given to Kun without having to work for it or anything, again, it's something, and I think that it came too soon after the ice power-up, because I would have liked to have seen him explore more of that before getting a new power-up. But yeah, just generally, I don't have huge complaints about it. It just kind of, like, could it be better? Of course, but to me, that's not as huge a complaint as some other things. I don't think it's that big a deal to me. Venti goes level 3, though. We get to see that. It looks better than his last transformation. His last transformation, wasn't really feeling it, but this one actually looks pretty decent. And then I laughed in the live reaction. I laughed again reading this over to take notes. Freaking Doom's transformation. He looks so dumb that I laugh every time. I love it. Because it's like Yama comes in and you just get this feeling that he's like this crazy sort of attack dog Rottweiler. And then we get to see Paul, who's sort of similar, but he's kind of more elegant and refined than the wild and vicious Yama. And then Doom comes in, and Doom's like a little teeny Pomeranian or something with a doofy face. Like, Doom is just this goofy tiny dog boy, and it's hilarious. Now, I do like I know people are going to complain about that. I like the design of his body. His face is just so doofy and cute. It just completely takes the design out of it, and it's so great. Great in a comedy way, though. Great in a laughing at it way. But I think this isn't Doom's final form, so to speak. Also, a lot of people I saw were asking what happened to his arm. One of two things. Either the parts of his power that were given away to other people, he needs to take them back, kind of like a White situation, to build himself back up into his complete form. Either that, or we see the, like, mouths and eyes and fur and everything behind him. That could be his arm being transformed. That could be a transformation of his, and that's why it doesn't look like he has an actual arm there. Or he just lost an arm somewhere. I guess there is that third option. But yeah, we also learned he was in the top 200 back in his heyday. So yeah, very, very strong. But yeah, that's all that happened in the actual chapter itself. The blog, there's some good information too. Siu brings up that Karaka's not necessarily bad at melee fighting. He just chooses to, like, fight in a way that minimizes the damage that he takes in. So yeah, Karaka's not bad at melee. He just doesn't do it because that would put him in more danger. Makes sense. He also says that he wanted to focus more on Deung Deung's story, but just went ahead and went to Doom. So that kind of, like, that's one of the main problems with Tower of God, I think. And I don't think it's necessarily a Siu thing. I think it's more of a taskmaster Naver cracking the whip sort of thing, where he's like, yeah, I want to focus more on this thing, but I am being, like, pressured into just pushing forth the main story, so let's just get to Doom already. And he also, this is where I was kind of talking about with Doom earlier, he mentions that Doom is looking pretty incomplete and short. So, of course, throwing out a comment like that makes me think, okay, if he says he's looking incomplete, it must mean that he's not fully revived yet and it's a White type situation where he needs to get the pieces of his power back that were given away or something like that. And just in general, the way CU talks, I say it all the time, but the man, because what got me to put this in my notes is he was mentioning, oh, I'll let you know if any hiatuses come up or anything, but the man needs a hiatus. I think, again, that's one of the problems with the series is that CU does not get enough breaks. I think he needs a lot more than the one tiny hiatus that he had to pretty much work through the whole time between seasons here. General thoughts, though, for the chapter. I love Kel Hellam. And there's something after my general thoughts and score I want to talk about too, just a quick discussion because I've seen it. It's not really necessarily related to the chapter directly, but I've seen a lot of questions about it recently, so I figured it'd be just something good to discuss to help people out. But thoughts on the chapter as a whole first. I love Kel Hellam. I think Kel Hellam is a really cool character and villain. The Deung Deung death is okay, I think, but like I said, there were a lot of things about it that don't make total sense lore-wise, and also I totally don't think he's staying dead. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a situation of Kun using his power to revive him, though that's possible. I think it's more likely that Louis just going to give him his heart back, that's going to revive him, because hearts are somehow working in this lore now. So I don't think Deung Deung is staying dead. Do I think he should stay dead because it adds more weight to the series? Probably, because that's another comment I've gotten. But even though I agree with that, I'm not expecting him to stay dead. Also, Jordan is great. I really love Jordan as a character. I don't know what it is, just some sort of charisma about him. I really like the character. And Doom is hilarious. Doom's doofy look, even though his name is literal Doom and he's supposed to be the biggest, baddest bad guy right now, his doofy little face makes it hilarious. So yeah, I'd give it as a score 7.5 tiny doggo boys out of 10. I thought it was a fun and enjoyable chapter, and there was a lot I liked about it. Though it obviously isn't perfect or anything, I just had fun with it and enjoyed it. Now, the thing I've seen brought up a bit lately, and especially this chapter because Kel Hellam mentioned it, was and I feel like I've explained this thing like a million times, but for those of you that are new or haven't heard the explanation or haven't heard it in a while, the whole ancients and native ones thing, it seems like so many people, like I think it was when I was going to look on the blog, somebody had asked what the difference between ancient and native ones are, and like everybody's commenting down there saying, oh, they're pretty much the same thing, and they are definitely not if you've paid even the tiniest bit of attention. But like, native ones is literally everyone. Like, everyone except for people from the 10 families or irregulars. If you're not an irregular or from an irregular, you are a native one. So Ship, Hatsu, all of them native ones, because they're not descended from any irregulars or anything. So native ones is just a broad term for everybody. And where people get things like confused, it seems like people conflate native ones, Yura's family / Akka's family, because they're kind of from the same group. It doesn't necessarily mean they're related, but I'll get into that. They seem to conflate the cursed ones, is what I'll call them here. I'll just call them the cursed ones. The cursed ones, the native ones, and the ancient ones. So view it like this. I'll put my hands up on screen so you can see. The native ones are like literally everybody who's not from an irregular. The ancient ones are just one family, one single family tree from this giant who could control the elements and turn into elements and stuff that split himself into 5 parts and his descendants. That's just one family tree are the ancient ones. Now, the cursed ones, I guess is what I'll call them, there was a group of people that were native to the tower, and that specific group betrayed Zahard, I think it was, so we put a curse on them, and so that's why I'll just call them the cursed ones here. Not all native ones have that curse, because, again, native ones refers to literally everyone who isn't an irregular. But there's this one group and their descendants who were cursed, and that's where Akka's from, and that's where Yura's from. So it's not that they're all necessarily related. It's just that there was this one cursed group of people, so one person from that group, Akka, could be their descendant, and one person from that group, what was I saying, Yura, could be their descendant. So they're totally sort of not related, but they're from the same basic group, or at least their ancestors were from the same group. So the cursed ones are just this one certain small subset of native ones. Native ones being everybody, and this one small group are the cursed ones that Akka and Yura are from. And then the one line of ancient ones is something where instead of cursing them, Zahard was like, oh crap, they can control and turn into elements and stuff? That's pretty damn dangerous, let's just exterminate them. So instead of cursing them, he just went full-on genocidal with that family tree, and that's why Edwan was surprised, because basically everyone from that family tree was supposed to be dead. There might be a few, like, not pure-blooded members around, but that's why Rak is special. Rak is a pure-blooded member, descended from the giant that split into 5 different people. So he's a pure-blooded ancient one. Now, Hess and his brother were, like, not pure-blooded ancient ones. They were mixed with just generations and generations of not ancient ones. So that's what ancient ones are. And the way that Evankel fits into all this is that Evankel is mentioned that they use the powers of the ancients. And Kelhelm again here said uses the powers of the ancients. So that just leaves me thinking that whatever's going on with Evankel, I don't think they're actually a descendant of the ancient ones like Rak is. I think that that's why they have sort of either the light skin grafted onto their dark skin or the dark skin grafted onto their light skin, is because they're somehow using the powers of the ancients even though they're not actually a descendant of the giant like Rak is. And the way that they could be related to Yura's clan is like a situation where it's just people assuming things, really. Let's just face it. And because the Tower of God community can be really crap sometimes, the fandom can be crap sometimes, a lot of people just throw out that theory as if it's real, as if it's like something that's been mentioned at all in the actual story, or even in the blog posts, and it just hasn't. Evankel is a character who we have no information whatsoever that they're related to Yura's family at all. People just assume that because they're kind of a masculine female. But on the other side of things, we also don't have any information that they're not related to Yura's family. So that's the thing. Evankel could be part of Yura's family, could totally not be part of Yura's family. We have no evidence to support it. We have no evidence against it. We just have no evidence of any relationship there at all. So yeah, that's where it all fits in. Native ones is everybody. There's one group of native ones that's cursed that Evankel could be a part of or not. We have no information either way. And there's the ancient ones that Rak, that's like basically just one family tree that Rak is a pure-blooded member from, and that Evankel uses their powers. We don't know if Evankel's actually from that family tree, but they at least use the powers of that family tree somehow. But I think it's that Evankel somehow took those powers and learned to use them despite not being from that family, which makes the character even more interesting in my opinion. So yeah, I just wanted to try my best to help clear that up some, since again, with the Tower of God community, there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of people assuming theory as actual fact when there's never ever been any of it mentioned whatsoever. And for some reason, a lot of people conflating ancient ones and native ones, even though they're totally very different things. But yeah, I suppose that's it. That was just a quick explanation because I had seen it brought up a lot. So I wanted to try to help people out if they were having trouble with that, since it was mentioned this chapter. But that's it. Thank you once again for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more. Tower of God much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel or talk to you there. If you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us there, then just ask and I can give you a link. And if you want to join the Patreon and help support the channel there, you can. Link in the description. I still have no idea how to weave this one in, but I'll figure it out one day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.